Now, there's a chance that this Michael McCain character is exactly what he looks like, a spoiled rich kid who was given daddy's company as an unearned inheritance. And his whole life he was used to people sucking up to him and just saying yes to him, no matter what he said. You know, no one ever properly said no to him. No one had the courage to say no to him. Maybe he'd fire you if you said no to him. And now he's treating Maple Leaf Foods, the company, like, I don't know, something else on there. Like maybe his dad gave him a sports car when he was 16 and he's going to speed and crash it and wrap it around a tree because he didn't have to earn the money to pay for that car himself. He doesn't have to take care of things. He's a narcissist, as many sons of billionaires can be. It's tough, I'm sure, being the son of a billionaire. So maybe no one's ever told him no. But blaming Trump for the shooting down of an airliner is bizarre. It wasn't a series of events. It was one rocket fired by Iran's military. Iran admitted they did it. Tehran is very far away. Look at Tehran on the right-hand side there, and look at those red dots where the rockets attack were. Tehran is extremely far from any possible battle with the Americans. Remember what happened? In revenge for Soleimani's killing, Iran lobbed a bunch of rockets at those Iraqi air bases where Americans are stationed, very far from Tehran, where they shot down the plane that was taking off. I'm sorry, I do not believe that it was an accident. Michael McCain not only believes it was an accident, he's actually blaming Trump for it. Now, maybe he's just passionate because a friend's family died. I get it. I wish McCain had been as passionate about everyone who's killed by accident. I don't know if you know what I mean, but a few years ago, 23 Canadians died from Listeria, a bacterial infection in Maple Leaf Foods cold cuts a few years ago, under Michael McCain's watch. Maybe if he spent a bit less time watching CNN and a bit more time, you know, working, I don't know, maybe those 23 people would be alive now, maybe not. You know, McCain fought those victims, the ones who survived, and the families of those who died. He fought them in court for years. And according to this Toronto Star article, after fighting them in court for years, he finally paid out, well, in the case of Walter Muller, who survived, $697.34. That's how much Michael McCain paid his victims. Yeah, you can't blame that one on Trump or the Iranians. That's on Michael McCain. Imagine poisoning your customers, God forbid, and then fighting them in court for years, and then settling for less than $700 each, which is probably, what, 1 hour's worth of what he pays his lawyer. He spent more on lawyers, I'm sure, than he did on the people he poisoned. I'm not quite sure I'm ready for moral lectures from Michael McCain. When I checked the stock price of Maple Leaf Foods today, it was down about 2%. It was hopping up and down a bit during the day. Maybe it'll come back up. Maybe it'll fall further. Who knows? I don't know if this is because of McCain's rant. I don't know. I don't think the stock would fall because of what he said. The fact that he hates Trump probably has very little effect on his company. I think most Americans won't hear about it, and they won't link it to the various Maple Leaf brands like Swift and Schneider's and Shopsy's and, you know, all these other menus you see here. I don't think people even know what's Maple Leaf meat, so I don't think there's going to be a consumer boycott or anything. I just don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think a lot of serious investors, forget about people who eat meat, but investors like banks, like people who buy shares by the million, they might say, hang on, is this bad judgment guy, this guy who can't control his emotions, this guy who does this on a Sunday night so there's no one around to stop him, this guy who uses corporate resources to scratch his personal itches, is this the guy who's really in charge of our multi-billion-dollar company? We're investing in his judgment? You know, out of curiosity, I went through Maple Leaf Foods' last annual report. They made money last year. They sure did. Absolutely they did. I went through the financials, and like I say, they're in the black. They're making a profit. But if Michael McCain had a different last name, I'm pretty sure he'd be fired immediately. Let me quote from his own letter to shareholders. Adjusted operating earnings of $215.6 million were 48.2 million, or 18.3% below the prior year, which is disappointing. Guys, I'm a little disappointed. I lost you $48 million, sorry. Oh, you think, eh? An 18% drop in profit is disappointing? Well, not for him. I mean, hell, he's going to inherit, what, $500 million? This is just him playing around, his dad keeping him busy. He's angry about Iran. He says he can't control his emotions. And maybe he can be forgiven if the Ayatollah's killed one of his colleagues' family. I get it. Let's not be so hard on him for his feelings. But what about his actions? What about what he's doing with his company? That's my point today. I went through the company Twitter feed. Just look, scroll faster. Dozens and dozens and dozens of tweets about global warming? You're talking about carbon neutrality? He just won't shut up about it. I'm serious. Look at him. There he is. He's posing. So handsome. Just ask him. He won't shut up about global warming. Sorry, bud. You are in the pig and cow business. They emit emissions. They burp and fart, to be plain about it. Sorry to use those words. Food, agriculture, animals, livestock is a major source of carbon emissions. Because animals and food, that's the stuff of life, and we live in a carbon-based world. And we're carbon-based life forms, and we eat carbon-based food like pigs and beef. So that's going to be that way if you're in the meat business. Maybe if Michael McCain spent more time running the company and less time running his mouth, he wouldn't be failing at his job. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.